In this video, we'll look at the SAP Hybris Commerce Customer Experience Solution. It is often referred to as CX. The term Customer Experience, or CX, refers to the combination of the traditional Hybris Web Content Management System, or WCMS, and two new tools: SmartEdit, a storefront content management tool, and Merchandising, which, as its name implies, helps you manage your merchandising activities. Let's take a closer look at the Web Content Management Module, WCMS. The module includes two major parts: the WCMS cockpit and the underlying WCMS libraries. The WCMS cockpit is a browser-based application used by page authors to compose or edit WCMS-based pages consisting entirely of CMS components, while the WCMS libraries are an extensive set of behind-the-scenes runtime controllers, renderers, and JSP tags used by a live, running storefront to render these WCMS component-based pages into standard HTML that is sent to the customer's browser. Since the WCMS libraries are only used by SAP Hybris Commerce software developers, we won't do much more than mention them from now on. One of the biggest benefits of building a particular page via the WCMS is that this framework integrates seamlessly with all parts of the SAP Hybris Commerce suite, so that it's easy to do things such as control the visibility of page components based on personalization rules, date ranges, or promotions. Finally, the WCMS module provides a single user interface for content production across multiple channels, such as mobile or desktop. It enables content managers to administer and publish content without concerning themselves with the characteristics of the device it will be viewed on. Let's look at some of the key features of the WCMS. Out-of-the-box page templates allow you to easily create static and dynamic pages. Several view modes make content production easier and quicker. For instance, the list and grid view modes display the SAP Hybris Commerce CMS objects, such as pages, templates, banners, images, paragraphs, etc. The edit view mode uses a structural layout that allows you to visually compose pages by adding, rearranging, or creating the CMS components that make up the page. Here, you can not only edit the attributes of existing CMS components, but also create new components needed for your layout. The preview mode allows you to see the page as it will appear in the live storefront. The Personalize mode makes for easy creation of personalized pages by duplicating an existing page and using visibility restrictions to customize the view for specific users or customer segments, time or date ranges, and so on. WCMS allows you to manage the navigation of the website. This means you can edit the hierarchical structure of your content pages as well as configure links used in the storefront navigation bar. You can also customize the cockpit views at runtime by, for instance, adding or removing list columns, sections, or fields. Or you can assign user roles at runtime and use role-specific views to control what is shown to whom. WCMS allows you to attach workflow actions to website pages, for example, to track, comment, or change status. The cockpit can also synchronize both individual components and entire website pages from the staging to the online content catalog version. Let's take a look at the basic CMS model. We'll start with the content catalog, which acts as a kit of components used to compose WCMS-based pages. The type content catalog is a subtype of catalog. A content catalog can be associated with one or more CMS sites, that is, storefront websites, and a CMS site can have one or more content catalogs. Therefore, a given component in a content catalog can be used in multiple CMS sites. The final element of our simplified CMS model is the base store. This represents the store itself, independent of its storefront. While it is common to configure a base store to have a single storefront website, it is possible to have multiple storefront websites based on the same base store. A base store could thus have several physical shops or warehouses associated with it, several product catalogs, as well as several websites. For instance, there could be a number of microsites that sell the same products under different brands. Or a base store could have just one website that sells products from several product catalogs. It is important to understand that product catalogs are directly associated with the base store and are managed through the product cockpit. Content catalogs, on the other hand, are directly associated with CMS sites, and both are managed through the WCMS cockpit. A CMS site only accesses a product catalog indirectly, by virtue of the base store the CMS site is associated with. Let's take a look at the WCMS templates, pages, and components, and how they are put together to create live content. First, we have page templates that define the layout of a page. While it is possible to define quite complex layouts, most out-of-the-box templates typically have 2 or 3 column layouts, with some form of header and/or footer area. Page templates define abstract positions, which are named areas in the template layout that can be populated with slots. We'll look at those in a moment. Next, we have pages. Each page is based on exactly one page template, such as 2-column standard template. However, a template can be used as the basis for any number of pages. Because of this, template positions have generic names, such as Section 3A, because each page that uses that template will have its own purpose for the same template position. Pages require content slots for holding CMS components. Each content slot you create is associated with a page, such as the home page, and one of its page template positions, such as Section 3A. You will give it a page-specific name, such as Featured Product slot. Finally, you add one or more CMS components to the content slot. So, in this example, we added the CMS component, Product Carousel component, to the content slot, Featured Product slot, on the page, Home page, which is based on the page template, 2-column standard template. Then, when the page is rendered to HTML in the live storefront, Product Carousel component will appear in the page template location, Section 3A. Note: using a very similar mechanism, it is also possible to place CMS components inside page templates. This makes sense for CMS components such as a company logo at the top of the page, or a standard page footer. This way, all pages based on that page template are guaranteed to have these elements in common, and any changes to these template components will be reflected on every page based on that template. Components are the actual content you want displayed on the storefront, and you can populate each content slot with 0 or more of these components. A component can be simple content, like an image or some text, or composed content, such as a banner, which might, for example, consist of several images, a link, and a headline. In any case, all content placed on a page via the WCMS cockpit must be in the form of a CMS component. CMS components can also be either static or dynamic. A static CMS component might be a paragraph containing predefined text, while a dynamic CMS component could use a product ID to obtain product details from a product catalog, or could use a user name to obtain list of product recommendations provided on the fly by SAP Hybris Marketing. On the diagram, the home page and company profile page share the same 2-column template. What makes these pages different are the components placed into each page's content slots. Before going further, let's take a look at some of the main differences between the content catalog and the product catalog. First of all, it's important to understand that a content catalog and a product catalog differ in purpose. All components used in composing WCMS-based pages, the pages themselves, and the templates upon which these pages are built are all stored in the content catalog. On the other hand, a product catalog, as we already know, handles categories of products and the products structured under these categories. Finally, certain CMS components may retrieve data from a product catalog in order to display product-related information. As an example, the content page homepage includes a CMS component called the product carousel, which is designed to access content from the product catalog when required. The product carousel component can be configured to contain links to specific products in the product catalog. This product information does not need to be duplicated in the content catalog, but can be pulled directly from the product catalog. This makes your product carousel flexible and easily editable. Remember that, in addition to out-of-the-box CMS components, you can create your own custom components programmatically. Let's look at a few page types in WCMS, all of which are subtypes of abstract page. The category page type is used for pages that display the contents of a product category. The content page type is typically used for a standard content page, such as the home page, a help page, a press release, or a policy page. It can also be used for an order confirmation page or a customer registration page. The email page type can be used to define standard email messages sent to customers. Examples of this include an order confirmation email, a customer registration email, and a forgotten password email. Remember that the HTML produced by pages isn't necessarily sent to a browser. It can be used, as in this instance, to compose an email. Pages of type product page are used to display a single product, including its images and attributes. As a CMS manager, you can apply several visibility restrictions to pages and components depending on context. By applying restrictions, you can personalize the appearance of your storefront for specific customer groups, individual users, sales events, and so on. Here are some of the restrictions that are available out of the box with the SAP Hybris Commerce Suite. A catalog restriction can limit a certain component or page to be visible only within certain catalogs. For example, a product page with a catalog restriction is visible on the front end only if the product displayed belongs to at least one of the catalogs specified in the restriction. A category restriction can limit a component or page to only be visible for certain categories. A product restriction can limit a component or a page to only be visible for certain products. A component or a product page having a product restriction defined is visible only if the current product is in the list of specified products. If not, the component will not be shown or the page will not be found. A time restriction can limit a component or a page to only be visible within a certain date and time range. If the current time is not between the specified starting and ending dates and times, the component will not be shown or the page will not be found. A user restriction can limit a component or a page to only be visible to certain users. A component or a page having a user restriction is visible only if the current user on the front end is in the set of specified users. If not, the component will not be shown or the page will not be found. A user group restriction can limit a component or a page to only be visible to certain user groups. A component or a page having a user group restriction is visible only if the current user on the front end is a member of one of the specified user groups. If not, the component will not be shown, the page will not be found. Other restrictions can also be created with some developer effort. Ask your developers to define the restrictions you need. Now let's look at the second tool of the customer experience solution, SmartEdit. Smart Edit is a standalone JavaScript overlay for the storefront websites. As a result, you can create and edit web content in a WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get manner. Smart Edit manages content via CMS web services. Here are some of the main features of Smart Edit. You can create and manage website content on the fly, meaning you can modify components on pages, add, edit, and preview pages. What's more, you can see your website as your customers see it and push changes to the online production site. Smart Edit allows business users to directly manage and update the content of your websites without relying on the IT department. Smart Edit provides various tools to edit and update website content, such as component management, add, edit, and remove components from a page. Search for a component. Use the drag and drop feature to move a component around a page. Set the visibility of components so that you can show components only on specific dates. Upload and replace images for simple banner and simple responsive banner components. Inflection point preview. Preview a website's catalog for different inflection points, such as mobile phones, tablets, and desktops. Catalog preview. Load a catalog version to preview it for specific languages, date, and time. The Page Creation Wizard will walk you through the steps to create a category, content, or product page in your catalog and to add restrictions to pages. With synchronization, you push the changes made to the staged version of a catalog to the online production version. Only then they will be available to customers. Modes let you select a work environment that determines which tools you can access. Basic Edit, Advanced Edit, and Personalization modes, or preview the changes that you've made as they will be displayed to your customers. Navigation management allows you to create the navigation structure by organizing your navigation components, such as the account, category, and footer navigation components. Shared content slots are used to edit content slots that are shared across pages. The page list displays all the pages in your catalog and allows you to easily search for and access the page that you want to edit. Data localization of the Smart Edit UI enables you to edit your catalogs with Smart Edit in your chosen language. Finally, personalization lets you create variations of pages which will be visible to customers based on their characteristics, like buying history, loyalty status, and so on. Personalization is among the most impressive features of Smart Edit. Using WYSIWYG editing, Smart Edit allows you to configure different content for components depending on which user is viewing it. This variance is based on the customer segments a user belongs to. In the back-office administration cockpit, you have access to more advanced functionality for personalization based on Smart Edit. You can manage the global personalization configuration, create segments and define the user segment relations, create and manage triggers, create and manage page customizations and variations, define actions such as replacing one image with another, and link them to particular variations and customizations. A segment is a group of users who share common characteristics such as age, habits, or any other traits. Segments are one of the foundations of the personalization module and the entry point to identifying a specific user. A user can belong to multiple segments, and segments can hold multiple users. You can define segments via Impex Import, Back-Office Administration Cockpit, Import from SAP Hybris Profile Data. Note: currently no segment import from an external system exists, but you can manually import segments. Variations. A variation represents a set of changes made across different channels to deliver a unique experience to a customer. Variations could include CMS content, search results, promotions, and many others. An example of a variation can be, for example, Summer Sale Men variation that comprises the men and beach enthusiast segments. Note: variation is a technical term used in the technical documentation and across the data model for the personalization module. In the business context of SmartEdit, we use the term target group. Actions. A variation is linked to actions. Each action represents a changed element of the customization that makes it more personalized. An example of such a change could be: display a specific component, activate a specific promotion, use a boost rule for search results. Customizations. Customizations group multiple variations together. The important fact is that only one variation per customization can be active for a user at a given time. Variations inside of a customization are sorted by priority. Customizations also define priority among each other. SAP Hybris Merchandising is the third tool of the customer experience solution. It simplifies the ever more resource-intensive task of merchandising management. By generating relevant recommendations based on real-time information and context, merchandising allows merchandisers to focus on business value. Hot products are more likely to drive a conversion. Merchandisers can place them where customers will see them. Coordinating merchandising personalizations with the promotional calendar will drive more sales of promoted products. Automatic user customization displays pages with content user is most likely to be interested in. SAP Hybris Merchandising rapidly generates mixes and previews results. Its simple drag-and-drop user interface is designed with business users in mind. Here is how merchandising works. On the storefront, key data such as best sellers, top converters, and trends are tracked in real time and analyzed by the system. In the merchandising UI, merchandisers can preview recommendations based on different metrics and contexts. Based on their results, merchandisers can adjust priorities to meet business goals, as well as mix in individually promoted products. As the right context appears on the storefront, customers are then given up-to-date recommendations.